and 514 votes cast. 261 votes for precinct 1 and 253 for precinct 2. The local street proposition millage failed. It was 249 yes to 263 no. Okay, our candidates, starting with the top vote getter, which was Ken Corcoran at 586. We had a tie for Mayor Pro Tem with 345 between Rick Simo and David Sim. Then the next vote getter was Brandon Tower with 339, and Joe Kerr with 280, and then Moni Shackelford got 273. The tiebreaker tonight, what we will do, according to our charter, says that we follow election law. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip a coin, and that sounds pretty good. Flip a coin, and then there will be two pieces of paper which we'll have to put in that box or something. The first one that gets the draw will pick first. It will say Mayor Pro Tem. The other one will say not Mayor Pro Tem. Okay? Rick? Heads or tails?
Tails.
Tails it is. We have first draw.
Yes.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Congratulations, Dave.
Thanks, Rick.
So I will hand it over to Mayor Corcoran to proceed. Oh, I'm sorry, I have to give you the old sentence right after. Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this state, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of office of Mayor Kim Corcoran, Mayor Pro Tem David Sim, and Commissioner Joe Kerr, Rick Simo, and Brandon Tower, to the office of the Iron City Commission, term expiring November 2015, in and for the city of Ironwood, Go-Getter County, Michigan, according to the best of your ability.
Nice.
I'll let you pass these down and get your sign these, please. All set?
I'd like to call the Zoning Board of Appeals to order. Recording the roll.
All present?
I'd like to open a public hearing. This is a public hearing to hear comment on a request for a variance on a rear yard setback on 850 East Ayer Street.
You have to talk a little bit closer.
Oh, is it? Okay. All right.
Thank you. Before you this evening is a variance request for 850 East Air Street. It's a rear yard setback request in the industrial district. This is the Hockey Wheel Storage Unit facility on Air Street, if you're familiar. A number of years ago, the City Planning Commission approved a site plan for this facility. There are 4 existing storage facility units here right now. The petitioner, Mr. Eric Fitting, is requesting an additional one to be built on the northern side of the property. Here, there you go. You can see the proposed site there. The request this evening is a rear yard setback variance. The setback requirement is 30 feet from the rear and side property lines. As you can see, what's being shown right now is it's only shown 10 feet from the property line, so the request is a 20-foot encroachment within the setback. My report is presented before this, but there are the criteria that the Zoning Board of Appeals needs to determine if all criteria have been met in order to grant this non-use variance. Just to give you some background, last week the Planning Commission reviewed the site plan and conditional use request for this project. They did approve the conditional use request, however, they denied the site plan based on the fact that the setback is not met. So what the process will be from this point moving forward, if the Zoning Board of Appeals were to approve the variance, the site plan will be brought back to the Planning Commission for review again, based on the fact that the ZBA presumably approved the variance. If the variance fails, then the project fails. And I would answer any questions that you might have at this time. And Mr. Fitting is in the audience this evening if you have questions for him as well.
Does the fitting plan impede any of Ottawa's future plans?
No, everything is being done on Mr. Fitting's property. If you recall, there was a discussion about the property adjacent to the city owned. Mr. Fitting was interested in purchasing that to do his expansion plans. Subsequently, Ottawa came through and identified that they had the interest as well as the right of first refusal. They made that option and subsequently have purchased the property from the city. So it is actually, title has been transferred and Ottawa Forest Products does own the property adjacent to Mr. Fitting's previously the city-owned property. So what Mr. Fitting has is what he has to work with here. As you can see, there's really not a lot of extra room at this point to squeeze more on his property.
Ottawa said they were fine with it.
And we did send out notice to the surrounding property owners. I have not received any comments for or against the petition.
I have a question for Mr. Fitting. One of the requirements is that this is not something that is self-created, but it seems to me that this is something that is. There is obviously open property there. Is there anything that would keep you from maybe changing the design of the building that would be more appropriate to follow within the guidelines?
My name is Keith Johnson. I'll speak on behalf of Mr. Fitting. The question came up during the Planning Commission. If you see here the space between the two existing buildings or the existing and proposed, the reason why he's requesting this distance is when you come in here with a trailer, behind a truck or a sport utility, you want to make sure you have plenty of room to be able back into your vehicle, back your vehicle into the garage and unload and things like that. So that's why he moved the building back here based upon the needs of his customers. So that's why this request is here. And you could say, yeah, it was self-created, but in order for him to make that work for his customers, that's why he moved the building back.
Commissioners, any further questions? Just note that this is a public hearing, so if there's anybody from the audience here that wishes to speak at this time, please approach the podium and state your name. Any more comments? Nothing further from the commission? Okay. I'll close this public hearing. Item number 7, consider action on the variance requested.
I'll make a motion to approve the variance as described.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Howard to approve the variance as presented. Any further discussions or concerns on this topic? talked about it before. I think it's good that we should try to create a win-win situation and consider partners for our business owners. So that being said, can I do a roll call?
Care,
Yes.
Seymour,
Yes.
Sim,
Yes.
Tower,
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes. Item 8, adjourn the zoning board of appeals. Same time, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item B, report by the city clerk on commissioners elected and qualified together with board of canvassers report November 5th, 2013.
That was previously given, and if you would just receive and place it on file, I'd appreciate it.
Need a motion?
Yes, please.
I'll make a motion to receive and place on file the Board of Canvassers report.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Cater to receive and place on file the city clerk of commissioners qualified together with the board of canvassers report. Any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item C, recording of the roll.
All present.
Item D, adoption of the rules of the commission.
Just any changes?
Commissioners have a chance to look everything over, anything that needs to be changed. Okay. Okay, you have a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt the rule of the commission.
Support.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Towers, second by Mayor Corcoran to adopt the rules of the commission. Is there any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item E, consider appointment of city manager, city clerk, city treasurer, city assessor, and city attorney. Item 1, city manager, Scott Erickson. You want to go one by one?
You may as well like that.
Can we just make a motion to approve the current slate?
Either way is fine, however you want to handle it.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the current slate of city staff that we have right now.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Carey to approve the current slate of staff members noted in item E. Is there any further discussion or concerns?
I have a question. So during this process, is there, do you guys have like goals or goal settings or where, I mean, as this being part of that, could we see them?
In your packet, you should have received a copy of those goals.
I saw the commission goals, but that, like, to me, the city, like, clerk goals would be different than the city manager goals. And I realize they, cascade down, but I guess I was looking for more concrete numbers.
Right, our goals, what we have actually are set for the city. City Commission sets the goals. We would go through a goal setting process. And based on your goals, what would become our goals? Now, if you want to work through and set different goals for different department heads, that's possible too going forward.
Yep.
We don't have a separate set of goals for each department head at this point.
Okay.
That's something too that when we have our meeting as the commission, we can determine if we want to set goals or have our people that we appoint set goals.
And we will be having workshops, usually shortly after the new commission is seated. We'll sit down with the commission, go through goal setting, and just have a general conversation on things that you want to achieve this year and over the next 2 years. So.
Sure. All right. Thank you.
Okay, are you comfortable going with all 5, or do you want to do one at a time?
It's fine.
Go ahead, the commission.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Carey, to approve all current assignments listed in item E, 1 through 5. Any further discussion or concerns? Can I do a roll call?
Sure. Seymour,
Yes.
Sim,
Yes.
Tower,
Yes.
Care,
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes. Item F, consider designation of city depository to be the River Valley State Bank.
I'll I'll make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Tower to approve the designation of the city depository to be River Valley State Bank. Any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item G, consider designation of official newspaper and official radio stations to be the Ironwood Daily Globe, WJMS, WMI, WBM, and WHRY.
I'll make a motion to make those designations.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Kayer to approve the designations noted in item G. Any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item H, consider appointment of one commissioner and one alternate commissioner to the Cogibbet Iron Wastewater Authority and Board. At this time, I think Brandon Tower and myself are appointed as the alternate.
I'd like to continue.
Very good. And I'll continue being the alternate.
I'll make a motion that Commissioner Tower be the board member and Mayor Corcoran be the alternate to the Iron Wastewater Authority and Board.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Kayer to appoint Brandon Tower to the Cogibbet Iron Wastewater Authority Board and Mayor Corcoran to be the alternate. Any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item I, consider appointment of one commissioner to the Community Action Agency Board. I believe this is a vacancy by Moni Shackelford. Mr. Sims, would you be interested in stepping up on that board?
Sure, I will do that.
I'll make a motion we appoint Commissioner Sim to the Cogibbet Action Agency Board.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Kayer to appoint Commissioner Sims to the Community Action Agency Board. Is there any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item J, consider appointment of one commissioner to the Planning Commission. Commissioner Semo is currently serving on that board.
Yes, and I would like to keep on doing that.
Very good. I will make a motion that we appoint Commissioner Semo to continue his seat on the Planning Commission.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Corcoran, second by Commissioner Tower to approve Rick Semo, his position on the Planning Commission. Is there any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item K, consider appointment for one commissioner to the Paddle Donna Civic Center. I believe Commissioner Kayer has been on that board. Do you wish to continue?
I'd like to stay on it.
Good.
I'll make a motion we appoint Commissioner Kayer to the Pat O'Donnell Civic Center Board.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Tower to approve the appointment of Commissioner Kayer to the Paddle Donna Civic Center. Any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye. Opposed, motion carries. Consider appointment of one commissioner to the Park and Recreation Committee. At one point, that was Commissioner Shackelford that served on that. Are there any other commissioners that would be interested in serving on the Park and Recreation Committee? Very good. You have a lot on your plate?
I have a lot on my plate. I really have a lot on my plate.
I can't either of these things with the same time.
I think what, I will say yes to that, but then when item M comes up, I'll say no to that.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to appoint Commissioner Semo to the Park and Rec Committee.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Tower, second by Commissioner Kayer to appoint Commissioner Semo to the Park and Recreation Committee. Any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye. Opposed, motion carries. Consider appointment of Rick Semo to the Historic Ironwood Theater Board as an ex officio non-voting member. Are there any other members of the commission that would wish to partake in this position?
Well, I think that I would point out that Mr. Sim is already a member of the theater board,
Okay.
That is correct.
so that simplifies things.
Yeah, I would say that it would probably just, I would probably just become a non-voting member and then represent the commission. And I think that would probably be okay. So I would would still be, absolutely.
And maybe to add to this, this was a discussion with the historic theater board, non-voting member. It's not an official position, you know, that the city commission has established in the past. There is something for a liaison.
Sure.
So whether it's non-voting or you want to stay as a member of the board.
I'll talk to them about it. Sure.
I'll make a motion, we appoint David Sim to be the liaison to the Ironwood, Historic Ironwood Theater Board.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Kare to appoint Commissioner Sim to the Historic Ironwood Theater Board as the executive non-voting member. Any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item N, approval of the consent agenda. Are there any changes we need to be aware of?
No changes.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Kare, second by Commissioner Semo to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there any further discussion or concerns? Roll call.
Sim.
Yes.
Tower.
Yes.
Care.
Yes.
Semo.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes. Approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion, we approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Kare to approve the agenda as presented. Is there any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item O, citizens wishing to address the commission on items on the agenda, a 3-minute limit, and if you are able, please approach the podium and state your name. Okay, takes us to new business. Item P, discuss and consider awarding bid for 17 sets of fire turnout gear for the IPSD Fire Division.
Okay. I believe it was 2 meetings ago I posted requesting approval to go out for bids. And we did receive 3 bids. The thing you want to know in our bid process is it's kind of like buying a parachute. You want to buy the cheapest parachute. You want to buy the parachute that best fits your needs. So price was not our main factor in the process. That was 30 points on a 100-point scale. Our main process was we developed a committee to choose equipment that they felt best suited us, and we developed the process through that. So Brandon Snyder headed up the committee. We had 4 members on that committee, and if you have any questions, you could probably direct them towards him.
Okay, we're going to talk about the funding a little bit.
Yep, this is an AFG grant that Officer Snyder had wrote. We received $42,500 of funding with a 5% match. So the bids came within the funding limits. And our percentage is going to be roughly $2,200, this is a great grant.
And that is in the budget.
As well as in the budget, we had put this in our community for the budget cycle.
So are these going to be like phased in, or like are all 17 going to be replaced at once, or how does this work?
We'll be buying all 17 all at once.
Okay.
We're trying to move away from this process, and myself and Officer Snyder have come up with a process so that we're buying 1 to 3 sets a year. Firefighting gear roughly costs $2,500 per set, $2 to $2,500. So we're going to try to do a process where we phase in a couple of years moving forward. Okay, we're going to get 17 now. But in the future, we're going to look at buying 1 to 2 sets. We have 12 public safety officers, and then also we have 17 volunteers. So we have 29 sets of gear we need to outfit people with. Okay. We started 2 years ago. We've been buying 2 sets a year, and then Officer Snyder received the grant. So we're just going to continue that process of buying 17, and then next year probably add 1 or 2 sets. So we're not scrambling to replace these. Because every 10 years we have to replace them according to NFPA standards.
I'll make a motion, we approve the bid, award the bid as recommended by the Safety Department.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Kare to award the bid as recommended by the Public Safety Department. Any further discussions or concerns? Roll call.
Tower.
Yes.
Care.
Yes.
Seymour.
Yes.
Sim.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes. Item Q, consider approval pay package number 2 in the amount of $22,284. We are withholding $1,000 cash fee to Angelo Lupino for renovation of the space in the Memorial Building for the Social Security Office upon authorization of city manager.
Again, this is a partial payment. The work is essentially complete. There's a couple of little punch list items they have to do. Social Security has actually started moving as of tomorrow.
That looks good over there.
How long will it take us to get reimbursed from Uncle?
We'll make the reimbursement because, as I said, I can't give you a time frame. We'll submit it to your,
Just curious. Could be a while.
possible.
I'll make a motion, we approve the pay package described in item Q.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Seymour, second by Commissioner Care to approve the pay package number 2 as noted as $22,284 to Angelo Lupino for the renovation of space in the Memorial Building for the Social Security Office upon authorization of city manager. Any further discussion or concerns? Roll call.
Care.
Yes.
Seymour.
Yes.
Sim.
Yes.
Tower.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes. Item R, discuss and consider approving change order number 2 in the amount of $3,749.66 for the Civic Center ice making equipment with Arena Systems.
Again, all that equipment is installed at the Civic Center. I think they have 2 weeks of ice making in the development. It's going very well. And a few little items, punch list items you can do. This is a change order. It's our a second change order for the project, and it's to pay for some additional valves and some things they needed to complete the project.
Is there a reason why this didn't fit into the original bid?
It was some additional work that wasn't specifically specified in the bid. It came about as it put it in that they needed to make these changes to a couple of valves. They had to cut a shroud outside the building where the new equipment went. Anyway, there were a couple things that were not identified in bid specifications, and were added to the project.
So it's really on us, we didn't have that expect.
It is additional work that the contractor did not do.
And it was deemed necessary?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, we approve change order number 2 as described in item R.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Seymour, second by Commissioner Care to approve change order number 2 as noted in item R. Any further discussion or concerns? Roll call.
Seymour.
Yes.
Sim.
Yes.
Tower.
Yes.
Care.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes. Item S, discuss and consider approving pay application number 2 in the amount of $146,848.43 for the Civic Center ice making equipment project with Arena Systems.
This is the second partial payment. There still will be $20,000 worth of retainage. Essentially, the work is complete. They're fine tuning some of the equipment over there. There's a little bit of landscape work outside, so the $20,000 is substantially enough to complete the project. And this has been reviewed by the Civic Center Board. It was their recommendation to maintain the $20,000 balance until everything is completed.
How long will they keep their retainer for?
I'm going to guess it'll be very shortly. The work that needs to be done is very minimal. So again, until the contractor gets the work done, we would hold on to it, but I think this would be an incentive for them to really finish up very quickly. They have a little bit of landscape work outside, and then inside they're actually, I think if they have it, they're real close to completing their fine tuning and the equipment. So.
Are we within the financial guidelines we set up at the beginning? The amount bonded plus the fund balance that the Civic Center had, are we within that number?
We are working within that number. The change order was additional dollars, in addition to that, but they do have the fund balance within their budget to handle it.
That change order was minus the $8,000 of current credit.
Just maybe to elaborate on that a little bit, through the process here, the Civic Center through volunteer help can get a credit up to about $8,000. There was a lot of volunteer effort there, so we're expecting that $8,000 hopefully to go toward the Civic Center this project. So that $20,000 we should be back, $8,000 in the final payment. But they have to work out the details of that and make sure all those numbers work out. We'd expect that 8,000 to be hopefully a full payment. And thanks to all the volunteers that helped. It's just significant savings for the city government.
Is there like an insurance on the work, so that you don't get to the middle of the hockey season and then it breaks down and we're out of luck? Is there some kind of,
There's a warranty, I believe there's a 2-year warranty they have on all the equipment. So if something were to break, within 3 years, there'd be a warranty to fix it.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the pay packet described in item S.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Sim to approve the pay package, application number 2 is noted in item S. Any further discussion or concerns? Roll call.
Sim.
Yes.
Power.
Yes.
Care.
Yes.
Semo.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes. Item T, discuss and consider rental lease agreement with Kevin Schneller and Arlen Schneller at the city center.
Again, this is another one of the units in the upper office suites. And like you can see, there are a number of spaces that have been rented. It's very, very effective. This is a lease with Kevin and Arlen Schneller. It's for an amount of $75 a month, plus they have an additional 7.5 hours monthly of volunteer labor that they contribute to that operation. So again, this is our standard lease agreement that's been used, and those are the parameters of the lease. And the unit that she's reserving, there is a map that shows you what suite she is going to be renting.
It's nice to see those offices going up.
I'll make a motion we approve the rental lease agreement described in item T.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Power to approve the rental lease agreement as noted in item T. Is there any further discussion or concerns? Roll call.
Tower.
Yes.
Care.
Yes.
Semo.
Yes.
Sim.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes. Item U, consider approving payment to Northwood Environmental Industries for demolition or maintenance of pipe insulation and loose transit from 213 Bonnie Street.
Again, this is part of the light remediation project for that particular property. The whole house will be demolished. The house itself is filled with debris. You might have been up there to see that. So the first step was the environmental remediation. We had an environmental contractor come in, evaluate the site, and some of the piping had some asbestos on it. So we had to remove that appropriately and dispose of it. We had anticipated somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000 for that work. We came in at $6,000. That work is completed. So with this, the next stage will be to actually have the structure start coming down. That will be Gates excavating, and they are poised. This week is what we've been told, and what we anticipate will come in and start that demolition for that structure.
Just curious as to where we're gonna take the $6,000 out of.
It'll be through, I gotta think about where all the funding is coming from for this. It was through we have light funds that have been budgeted for this, and through the approval process before, we set up different funding locations for this work. And I don't have that whole list with me. Paul, you
I don't recall the details off the top of my head, but when they approved the process prior to that, we ensured that the funding was there.
So we don't know which fund.
it's a general fund. It's your general fund that is paying for all this.
If you knew that it was going to be between 5,000 and 10,000, like was it purposely set aside? I mean, you knew it was coming, right?
Well, there's money set aside and budgeted for this. Whether it was going to be 5 or 10, our estimate, it could have been 2,000, it could have been 120,000. We didn't know going into it because that building was so filled up with debris, you couldn't even get in the doors. So it was unknown. We were estimating 5 to 10, just talking with the environmental contractor, what they could expect. So, but we didn't have budgeted, we had budgeted 10,000. So if we were more than that, we would have been coming back to you saying we've got some issues here.
At this point, do you expect any more?
We do not.
When's the demolition going to take place?
We don't have a date specific. We were trying to get that from Jake's estimating. He has told us that this week we're mobilized to the site and start the demolition.
I'll make a motion we approve the payment to Northwoods Environmental Industries as described in item U.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Care to approve the payment to Northwoods Environmental Industries as noted in item U. Any further discussion or concerns? Roll call.
Care.
Yes.
Seymour.
Yes.
Sim.
Yes.
Tower.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes. Item D, discuss and consider approval of the use of the Memorial Building auditorium and waive the fee for the winter ball for senior citizens.
We do have a nice break here to give you a little background on this.
I'm Amanda Sprague. I'm the nursing instructor for the Bohemian Mountain Intermediate School District. And I have, you wouldn't be able to tell because I'm here alone, but I have a very active group of students who weren't able to attend tonight who would like to have a winter ball for the elderly people in the community. So they were hoping to use the facilities here to put that together. And they have two dates. I think it was like the 14th and 21st as two possible dates, but it worked. The 14th worked for a majority of the students, but they were able to make the 21st work also.
For which you?
December. Christmas is a good time because, as we know, isolation and the elderly and holidays are kind of a depressing time for them. So.
The auditorium is available for those dates, and if you so choose, we ask that you consider waiving the fee. There's a $100 fee.
We do have parents who are willing to volunteer to help, and I'll be there, of course, monitoring the things that are going on.
This is the first time I've been to this.
It is.
Is there any insurance issue whatsoever? I know when private people rent, there's an insurance
The
requirement.
hospital should be able to provide us with a insurance certificate, naming us as an additional insured with it. For the college, I'm sorry.
The ISD.
ISD.
That's why I work for it.
Okay. They should be able to, it's a pretty simple process.
If they've indicated they would do the cleanup and everything that's ever considering or requesting you consider waiving that.
We make a motion to waive the fee for the winter ball for the event described in item B.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Seymour, second by Commissioner Care to approve the use of the Memorial Building auditorium and waive the fee for the winter ball for senior citizens. Is there any further discussion or concerns?
I do. I guess I have another question, sorry. Has it been waived in the past for other things?
For different community type of events, each one has to come to commission for that discussion. It has been waived for a couple of different events. I'm trying to think, Sisu,
School.
Yeah, generally,
festival.
Nonprofit.
This is for nonprofit type events. Again, each one has to come to you for your consideration. But if they're doing cleanup, they'll have someone to open and close the doors. There's really no additional expense to the city. So.
I second the motion.
Yes. Seymour.
I'll take that back. Motion by Commissioner Seymour, second by Commissioner Howard to approve the use of the Memorial Building auditorium and waive the fee for the winter ball for senior citizens. Any further discussion or concerns? Roll call.
Seymour.
Yes.
Sim.
Yes.
Howard.
Yes.
Care.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item W, city manager's report.
Just a few items to bring up to date on. A week from this Wednesday, November 20th, will be the Chamber's Community Fueling Ceremony. That'll be at 6 o'clock p.m. at Union Park. That's an annual event that kind of kicks off the Jack Frost Festival, just to make everybody aware of that. The Jack Frost Parade is going to be Friday, December 6th at 6 p.m. Again, whoever would like to participate, there are all opportunities for everybody in that area. And as you can see, there's a number of events coming up in December and January. I won't go over all of them on the list here. If people say there's anything to do in the area, over the next 2 months, it's pretty packed full of different events between snowcross, ski races, many different things going on. As you can see, I do want to highlight Copper Peak. You probably heard about that. They had a meeting last week. And we are looking at doing a ski flying event at the end of February on the 28th. Looks like that's moving forward. They have a lot of things that need coming together on that. And it has real significant potential for the area. So again, a great group of people working on that, and any kind of support we can provide from our adjacent communities to help with that, we're definitely want to see that event take place. Public Safety is working on a community drug awareness seminar that's coming up, and there was a handout that was provided in the DS up there. Andrew, would you want to just touch base on a little bit about what that is and the dates?
That'll be this Wednesday. It'll be held at the high school. I believe it's in room 232. Part of our community policing initiative is to get the community involved. Public safety cannot fight drugs alone. It's a community involvement thing, and part of the process is going to be educating and just kind of letting people know what's in our community and what they can do to make a difference. So I hope to see a lot of people there. It should be a very good event. So.
Also coming up, this is the annual thing that Bob Turman kind of spearheads in the area. TV6 Can-a-thon. Bob, you want to touch on that?
Yeah, this is the 18th year the city of Ironwood has been the local sponsor for the TV6 Can-a-thon. I have the list of WGMS, WIMI. Annually, we raise about 4,000 cans that we donated to the local St. Vincent de Paul food shelter. I know the city of Wakefield's doing the Wakefield Investment side, but it's running from the 11th till the 5th of December, and it'd be nice if a lot of people here can bring a simple bag of groceries for the next commission meeting. We'll be more than happy to bring it down. But Dennis and I and Jason been bringing cans in the last 3 or 4 years. I think the cans we bring into the food pantry, they've been walking out the door as fast as we've been bringing. I mean, there's a big need here. And there's a lot of churches that were participating with us, but they have their separate things, but all the donations are going to the same place anyway, so. You know, it's needed here, it's needed everywhere. So it's a pretty nice thing that we've been doing here for the last 18 to 20 years.
Thank Bob for participating and kind of spearheading that effort. Last week, the city staff met with the US EPA. The city was working closely with them on cleanup of the manufactured gas plant site down by the Montreal River. Cleanup is essentially complete from their standpoint. All of it has been done. Now what we're doing is working on a monitoring process with the EPA. Essentially, the city staff person will go out once a month and develop the criteria to look for if there's washouts, things like that going on the site. So we'll be working with them on that. We'll do a monthly inspection and report to them. And that seems like it's working out fairly well. They're working closely with us on developing a checklist and what they're looking for. And we're also waiting for the ability to pay analysis. We'll do an estimate basically of what they're going to say the city's responsibility is from a cost standpoint. They haven't finalized that evaluation yet. Again, all this work that's been done up to this point, we get credit for our involvement in that, and also ongoing inspections and maintenance, so we're taking that on into account. So again, we won't know here for a number of months yet. They haven't told us exactly when, but it's kind of a chicken and egg. We're not pushing them to get it, but at the same point, we do need to know for our budget, future budget needs. We talked a little bit about 213 Bonnie Street. Again, we expect Jake's excavating to be up there this week to start demolition on that property. Also, another blighted property the City Commission had worked with the property owner on over the last few weeks here was 301 East Oak Street. And quite a blighted property again, one of our more challenging properties. And there was a significant amount of cleanup completed on that property over the last few days. And we are working with the property owner with a number of cans, aluminum on that property, aluminum cans that they'll be getting rid of. And if it's not done by a certain date, then we'll mobilize our forces back in, city forces, and remove the rest of that. But there was some value to him with that, and we were hopeful that he'll step up, and it keeps our costs down too. But at the end of the day, that property will be cleaned up. And it's come a long way from where it was here a few weeks ago. The city audit will be starting in the next few weeks, Paul. Is that fair to say? Yeah. So the auditors will be coming in, and pretty much Paul and his staff that are immersed for a good month or so with the auditors, getting all the information to them as they go through their audit process. And our city deer management bowhunt, the hunters have been out there, but to date they have 10 deer that they've taken as part of that management hunt. That's in my report.
Yeah. Item X, other matters. I guess we will start. Congrats to everybody and welcome to everybody. And look forward to the next couple of years and keeping the momentum going as a city. And I'd like to say thanks to all the veterans out there for everything that they've done and everything they've done and allowing us to have the things that we have for today. I'd like to throw a thank you out there to some of Ironwood High School students that helped with our wreath. They helped put the lights on the wreaths that will be put on the poles tomorrow. Grace Ruby, Haley Halverson, Marjorie Marin, Debbie DeRosso, and Will Newberry, and the teachers, Ed Reichner, teaching the shop class. So just want to give thanks out there for them putting together the wreaths. And then one more thank you to the City of Hurley. It's my understanding they will be helping us tomorrow to put up the wreaths. So
Right.
thank you out to them for their help and using their equipment. And that's right.
Well, I don't want to get too heavy at our first meeting, but our election turnout was pretty sad. And one of our things we need to work on in the future is figuring out how to line up with the even-year elections. I know it's in our charter.
I
We
think
talked
the
about
state
this
is working
before.
on that. To move us to the beginning of the year, so it's probably.
Big waste of money. Just my thought.
Unless Debbie John or no. I was at that Copper Peak meeting that Scott Erickson was at, and it was really awesome. I've never really been as invigorated about things going on. They really have a pretty good vision of what it could be, such as like bringing the U.S. ski jumping headquarters here and having it being a real summertime place. There's a lot of work that needs to come from business owners and commissions and towns and townships. We should really try and be proactive as a commission working together with other groups, because if we're not ready, but they are, we are going to ruin it for them. So it could be way bigger than any of us, I think, ever realize. So let's go get them.
Yes.
Thank you for fixing like an error.
Yes.
Just so I know that's a temporary patch out there, much needed. The idea is a bigger project out there next summer, but at least I'll get it straight.
It was getting pretty bad.
Again.
Moving on to item 9, citizens wishing to address the commission on items not on the agenda. 5-minute limit, please. If you're able, please approach the podium and state your name.
I got my notes. Congratulations to Mr. Sims for being a new commissioner. And like Mr. Simo said, it was disgusting. The vote of the people that come out to vote was disgusting. My name is Paul Grabovich, 1221 East Leonard, that's where I live. And the thing is, what I'm gonna go after is the spending of this money. Stop spending money that you don't have. The people spoke with this past election with the roads. They're sick and tired of these millages going on the tax roll. Everybody and their brother is on it. It's about time this stuff comes to a halt. And the next 2 years is really going to be hard on the city, because the big thing is nobody knows what's going to go on with that gas plant. That deal's not in yet. Where's all this money going to come from? Obamacare. When Obamacare kicks in, how much, I asked Paul Lynn, the comm crisis at the last meeting, how much is this going to cost the city? And he said, man, it's going to go up, but he doesn't know. And a few years down the road, Mr. Johnson, Keith Johnson, he's going to get a pension. He's scheduled to get that pension, 40 to 50 grand a year probably. Where's this money going to come from? And Ironwood Township, opting out of the library. How's this money going to be made up? You people have a lot of hard work, and just stop the spending. I mean, is the library going to be getting cuts? Is it going to have to be shut down or something? I don't know. You're going to have a lot of hard work. Those loans that these businesses defaulted on, these EDC loans, it's about $150,000 to $200,000. The city's going to be on the hook for that, aren't they?
I think we're still working on it.
I know, you're still working on it, but there's nothing there. There's no assets. That's going to be coming down the road. And heaven forbid if that ice arena fails. Heaven forbid if that thing fails. That's a lot of money. You people have to be very, very careful how you're spending money. Because the money's just not there. There's nothing in our future, economically, in the next couple of years, to bring more people in here, to create more of a tax base, to increase property values in the community so we can get more in taxes. You know, we need these jobs that are gonna give these $40,000 to $50,000 a year, and they're not here yet. There's nothing set in stone. That's about all I have to say, is just be careful on the way you are gonna spend the money in the next few years, because it's gonna be rough. There's a lot of unforeseen bills. Thank you very much.
I would just like to say that, Paul, I understand your concerns, but we do balance our budget every year, and we do make hard decisions every year, and we're aware of these things.
Yes, but these unforeseen, and these are gonna be big bills. These are gonna be big bills, so just be careful. Thank you.
Anybody else at this time? Moving to item Z, adjournment.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Kidder, second by Commissioner Tower, to adjourn the meeting. Any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.